Hello, welcome to the Science Workshop. I'm Kurt, and today's project is bones of the hand. We're just gonna make little clay representations of the bones in your hand. And I don't know if you've ever done it, but you can have a good look at your hand. It's an incredible machine. Mine's a little bit dirty, but you can see the different parts. Got your fingers, of course, and each finger there's 3 different bones that are up there, and there's more bones down here. Then in the palm of your hand, there's all kinds of different little bones. In addition to the bones, there's the tendons. You can see the tendons. Tendons are hooking the muscles to the bone. They're like little ropes under there. You can feel those things. You can see, you can push your muscle here, and you're pulling on those tendons. Actually, the muscles that are pulling your fingers down are actually all the way up here in your arm. They're connected to the finger bones through these tendons that go through here. This is the carpal tunnel area. So if you sit here and do a bunch of action like this every day, pretty soon you'll have problems with all those tendons going through there. It's repetitive motion, and I'll have to open it up and scrape it all out. Get a little surgery done. But the other thing in there that you can't see are the ligaments. Ligaments are hooking the bone to bone, and they're stronger than the tendons. They're harder and stronger. And you might have seen them when you're eating chicken. If you're pulling apart the wing or the leg, you'll see these really strong little cords that it's really hard to rip them off because they're so strong, and that's what's holding the bones to each other. So anyway, getting back to the bones, we have a little picture here, and the picture shows each one of the bones. And I think there's 27 bones in there. You can count them, and they have little names. The very tippy end ones are called the distal phalanges. Well, first of all, they're divided into 3 parts. There's the ones down here are the carpals, and then the ones inside the palm there are the metacarpals, and then the ones out here on the digits are the phalanges. But then the phalanges, there's 3 on each of the fingers and 2 on the thumb. And you can see they're called the distal phalanges, the ones that are very tippy end ones. Intermediate phalanges are here, and the thumb doesn't have one of them. And the proximal phalanges are the ones down here right next to the metacarpals. So that's all very interesting, and we can make them. So you've got a chunk of clay and a piece of cardboard, and so before you get out the clay, you can set up your cardboard. Before you set up your cardboard, you want to cut out your hand. So cut it out more or less right around it, like this. You could cut every little bone out separately, but not necessary. You could put it like this. And then also the names you'll want on there too. And you can draw lines to each of them, or you can just use the color coordination between them, because even after you put the clay things down, you can see the color underneath there. So then you work out where you're going to want it, more or less, and then cut off the cardboard. You can cut with the scissors or with the cardboard cutters. You should be used to now. Very nice. And then you cut the corners off with the scissors. You can cut it even more if you want around there, but that's pretty good. You get the glue, put the glue down here. And smack it onto the cardboard like that. And then put the names up here. And after that, it's all about the clay. So you want to put some paper down on the table so that the table doesn't get all messy. This is clay. Clay is the kind of dirt. You make it from the ground. Take it from the earth. And this has been purified so there's not any of the other kinds of earth in there. It's only clay. And the main characteristic of clay is that it's got teeny tiny particles, very, very small particles. So it's almost like paste. Just you can make it super thin, and then it's really hard to wash off because it gets into every little crack. But it sticks together. And this kind of clay we're giving you is the kind where it dries, and it dries really hard, and you don't have to fire it. You could fire it, but it's going to be really hard to fire it because we're going to glue it onto the paper. If you fire the paper, it'll burn up. So you can make your little, it only takes about this much to make a hand. You'll need about, every person doing this needs about this much clay. And so then you get a little teeny tiny piece, and you start anywhere you want. Just make a little teeny tiny, and see they have actual shapes. So you can try to make that shape. The distal phalanges have the most interesting shape. They're almost like little arrowheads. You can try to make that exact shape, and that flares at the bottom, and you can only imagine that it's that shape because it needs the places where the ligaments and the tendons hook onto it. Each bone has got a ligament and a tendon, or multiple ligaments and tendons hooked onto it. So there's one. Actually, that one's too big. I'll move it over here. So there's one of my distal phalanges. And then you just go to the next one. And these are the ones down here, the longer ones. They're skinny, and they have little bulges at each end. Try to get those all into the piece of clay that you've got, and then just pop it on there. Okay, so I'm not going to make the whole thing. That would not be very interesting, but we did make one, and then we lost the thumb's distal phalange here, so we're really hurting there. We've only got one phalange on our thumb, but this is how it could look. When they dry, then it'll take about like a day for it to dry. Better if it's 2 days, 3 days, or a whole week. Then you have to be super careful, and then take them off one by one and glue them back on. You get the hot glue, you just put it down there, and then it glues on there very nicely, sticks to the clay very well, kind of stick. The hot glue goes into the little cracks in the clay and sticks to the paper very nicely. So then you've got your little display there, and you can put it up on your wall and look at the structure of the bones in your hand every single day. You could decorate it more, you could decorate it better with more colors and the glitter and anything else you've got hanging around, and personalize it. Okay, that's all I wanted to tell you. You can see how this hand is different from your hand. This one is a little bit smaller than my hand. Maybe it's exactly the same size as your hand. All right, so in the end, you wouldn't even have to use this. You could trace around your hand and then draw in the little bones. But the nice thing about these bones is they're actually shaped like the real bones in your hand. Okay, have fun.